What's up guys? Today I'm going to be unboxing the HG Iron-Blooded Orphans, Gundam Barbatos, and long-range transport booster Kutan Type 3. I've been building most all of the HG Iron-Blooded Orphans kits in numerical order, but I skipped over this one and I'm going back to this just because it was quite large and I didn't get it until later after getting some of the other ones. So, big thank you to MindFenix Hobby Store, again as always, for supplying me with this kit to share with you guys. So really looking forward to checking this out. This kit can be used with the Barbatos, and it comes with the Barbatos, but it can also be used for the Greys. As I've said before, I prefer this with the Greys, so of course I'll show you that in the review when we get down to that. But anyway, just as you can see here, really cool box art. We can see Mikazuki here in his kind of normal suit. And then the Barbatos there with its sword, and then we can see what just the transport booster is going to look like without the Gundam in it up there in the corner. I know you guys can't see it, it's just out of frame. Very big box here. So let's take a look around the sides of the box. So on the left and right side, we're just going to have the same box art here repeated. We can see this is number 007, James Bond in the series here. On the bottom, we're going to have some images just of what the thing is going to look like here without the fuel tanks on the back, and then without the Barbatos, so like just the main kind of unit there, I guess what you would call it. And this does come with two of the cannons that we previously got in the HG option set 1. So we're going to have two more of those included with this. So here's just showing you can use that just with the Barbatos just by itself. It's also coming with the sword. It's painted there with white. I believe the mold is exactly the same, so it's not going to have any white parts as far as I know. And then it does come with a base. So here you can see, looks like you can adjust the angle of this on the base there. And then here is just customizing here. It looks like you can use some of these parts to attach maybe the Grey's Kai bazooka, and the Grey's shield onto the Barbatos. So that's interesting. We'll take a look at that, and you can also attach the Grey's Kai into this. That's what I'm planning to go for. Let's take a look up around the top of the box now. Just going to have an image there. What it's going to look like. The Barbatos is inside of there, front and back, kind of left and right side almost. So, and just the Barbatos just by itself here. Not sure, I guess this is coming with a mace, but we're not going to be using the mace with this. I'm not sure if there's any way to attach the mace inside the unit there or not, I'm not sure. And then here we have just about the pilots, the story, and then the list price for this 5,000 yen, so definitely a little bit more pricey than the normal HG in the series, but this is obviously much larger. In the box, you can see here is our polycaps for the Barbatos, some more parts there for the booster, obviously some large parts for our fuel tanks there, as well as there's our parts for the inner frame of the Barbatos. Here's some of the big pointed parts, and we can see some bright orange part there for the effect. A very large foil sticker sheet for the booster. Parts for the Barbatos, red, blue, and yellow. Some very large parts here for the booster, including our base. That looks like a totally new base. And there's our foil stickers for the Barbatos, as well as just more parts for the booster. There's all our white parts for the Barbatos. And then the just last bits of our parts here. And it looks like the mold is the same or different. Anyway, it's a different runner layout, but I can't tell if the mold for the cannons is the same or not. I'll have to take a closer look a little bit later. Let's go ahead and get into the manual. As usual, just here on the top we're going to have just the box art, and then here on the bottom some illustration there, the Barbatos, Mikazuki, and then the long-range booster there. Going around to the back, just a bunch of information here. Again, kind of interesting that usually here is where they show all the weapons, but it's only featuring the sword. And then number 2, it's featuring the gun there, but it does come with the mace, and the mace is pictured here, so it's kind of interesting that it's not listed as a weapon there. I guess at this point in the story it was not, I think it was no longer using a mace, so maybe that's why it's not listed as like one of the official weapons here. And then here's our color guide. Let's see, quite a large manual here. It is actually stapled and not just a fold out one, so that's nice. Here's our parts list. You can see going to be using all of that. And then over onto this side, here's all of our new parts there. Looks like there are going to be a couple polycaps we won't use, but that's pretty much it. So looks like we're going to be building basically the long-range booster first. Looks like, and then maybe the Barbatos second. So here we're starting off with just basically like the core of that. And then we're going to be building like some of like the arm kind of parts that extend out, and then like yeah, the arm kind of units of that. A lot of the stuff I don't really know what to call it. It's not like building a mobile suit where you can say, oh, you're building the legs and then the arms and the backpack. It's all just kind of different sections of the long-range booster. So you're building all these different sections, and then you're going to put it all together in the end, I'm guessing. So here's just going through that, putting all that together, and then the last couple bits, just kind of putting these big arms on there, then just building the fuel tanks. Very simple there, just 2 sandwich, then 1 thruster bell on the end, just plugging those in. Then the cannon rack on the top, dropping that on, and then starting with the Barbatos. So gonna build the Barbatos torso, head, arms, putting the upper body together, the legs, putting the lower body together with the waist, the backpack, the sword there, as well as the mace, and how to use the cannon just with the Barbatos if you want, and how to build the gauntlet arm there, so that's going to be included with this as well. You'll have another one of those. And then here, I guess, so we will have this piece, I guess, which is included. And then here's just how to basically move everything on the long-range booster. And then what I'm guessing we're going to see how to mount the Barbatos inside there, and then kind of close that all up. Then just how to build the base, just 2 parts there, and then we've got maybe a couple different connection points for that. And then basically how we're going to take it apart to basically make the Barbatos sort of like built into it. Basically got to take a bunch of parts off and then just like reattach them around the Barbatos. And then finally, this is what I was hoping to see, how to mount the Gray's Kai into here. So going to be attaching some different parts onto different areas of the Gray's Kai. You can see you're going to attach stuff like onto the legs, onto the feet and the knees. So it's really cool, I think. And that is it. So let's go ahead and get into all the runners. First up is going to be the sticker sheet for the Barbatos Gundam. This is exactly the same as before, so if you've built the HD Barbatos, this shouldn't be anything new for you. A lot of these are not great, so obviously going to be much better off painting most of these color apps here. And then here is the foil sticker sheet for the long-range booster, just to give you a little bit of a size comparison. Here's the one for the Barbatos. This one is basically like 4 times the size of that. Of course, a lot of these are just very large stickers, but it's definitely going to be a lot of different stickers going to be needed for the long-range booster, just basically different color apps of gray, like a darker gray and a lighter gray. And here's our only polycaps, just the same polycap runner for the Barbatos Gundam PC002, molded in this same kind of dark gray color to match the inner frame of the Barbatos. Speaking of which, here's runner A1 is going to be the first half of our HG144 IBO Gundam Frame 1 runners. So obviously all of our frame parts for the Barbatos. And then runner A2 is going to be the other half of our Gundam Frame 1 set. Here, this one is also including the sword as well as the mace there. Now, curious, the sword is this, obviously this is the same runner as before, And the sword is slightly different. The handle doesn't have the same piece, so I'm guessing there's a new piece on one of the other runners that's going to slide onto this sword there. I'll have to keep an eye out when we start looking at some more of the new runners. But runner B is here in white and nothing new yet. This is just all of our white parts for the Barbatos Gundam. As you can see, quite a lot of parts packed onto this runner here. And then to finish out our parts just for the Barbatos, we've got a couple of small runners here. Runner C is all of our yellow parts. Then runner D is our 4 red parts for the feet, the crotch piece, and the eyes. And then runner E is our 3 blue parts for the chest and the back of the arms. And runner F is now getting into some new parts, but it's still just in that same kind of dark brownish gray color, basically like the same color as the Gundam's inner frame, it looks like. And the marking for these runners is going to be a little bit interesting. Here we can see HG 1/44 scale and then a whole bunch of kanji. And the part that's written in katakana says booster Kutan, so I'm guessing it's the kanji, the first bit of kanji there is must be long range, and then booster Kutan, and then I'm guessing that's the last couple of kanji there is type. So just kind of interesting that they've squeezed so much very intricate, complicated kanji onto the markings for these runners there. And runner G is again more of the same parts here for like basically what looks to be like about the core section of the booster, and then as well our cannon parts on there. So there's runner G. Runner H is in a sort of light gray color, obviously parts for the fuel tanks, as well as these parts which are like the kind of arm clamp kind of things on like the main arm of the booster. And then runner I, a lot of our whitish parts. This does seem to be a little bit off-white. The Barbatos is definitely white. This does seem to be a little bit off from the color, the white color of the Barbatos though. So this is just a bunch of our lighter color parts obviously here for the booster. And runner J is back to this same sort of dark grayish brown color, and interestingly here we can see there's a new sword blade part. So I'm guessing on the next runner, which is back to a whiter color, maybe the handle for that sword is going to be on that. So we, I guess, are going to be having 2 different swords, a new type sword and the old one as well if you wanted to use that or give it to another kit. So it's kind of cool. We'll take a look at the next runner here. Runner K is back to this very light, almost white, just barely off-white color here. No sword handle yet, but we do still have one more white runner coming up, so let's check there. In runner L, here it is, our parts for the sword handle, 1, 2 parts there, as well as parts to make 2 tiny little Star Destroyers. Runner M is back to brownish gray once again for just a couple more, just little connection parts and things like that. Bits and bobs. And then finally runner N is going to be in clear orange, just one little clear orange piece for our cockpit hatch, kind of cockpit canopy I should say. And I shouldn't have said finally because that was not the actual last runner. Runner O here is our last runner, and it is a brand new base. And interestingly, this is not marked for this kit. This is actually marked base 5. So this is going to be just a new base that's maybe not going to be specific for this kit. We might end up seeing this base used again in future kits as well, Iron-Blooded Orphans and otherwise. So kind of cool that we've got a new base now. That's interesting. So that is going to be it for unboxing the HG Gundam Barbatos and the Long Range Transport Booster Kutan Type 3. That's a long name that's going to be very exhausting to have to say multiple times in the review as well. But that is going to be it for this unboxing video. Thank you guys for watching. Hope that was helpful, informative for anyone who's been contemplating getting this kit. It looks really nice. The Barbatos is obviously a really nice kit. So you're getting that as well as this new kind of big booster thing. How well that works, we'll check it out in the review. Looks really cool though, and definitely looks much better on the grays in my personal opinion. We'll check that out in the review as well. Thanks for watching guys. See you later.